employers' perceptions of young people are changing. We're seeing more young people from Generation Y coming into the workplace, and they have very different expectations to those in the past. So they are more focused on what they're doing now rather than what they're going to be doing for many years in the future. They don't expect to be in the same job for the rest of their life, but whilst they're in that job, they will give it 100% and be very loyal to that organisation. And we are finding that by employing more and more young people, then our own managers' perceptions of them are adapting in line with that, which makes it then much more fruitful and easier to employ more young people going forward.
In Marks and Spencer, we run a programme that supports young people specifically who are NEET, so not in employment, education or training. And we've set up a 4-week vocational training and work placement programme to support those young people into work. And we originally set it out to address a big social issue that we thought was in the UK, with really high levels of unemployment, and the fact that we'd made a lot of progress in sustainability, but we thought, what's the point in doing all that if we don't have jobs for the next generation to move into? So we set this programme up and engaged people across the business to deliver it, regional sponsors, coaches, buddies in every store. And the outcomes that we've seen for our employees has been absolutely phenomenal and much, much greater than what we had originally anticipated. So we've seen higher engagement scores in the stores where we've run these programs compared to other stores. We've seen amazing pride and passion from our employees, and they've realised skills that they didn't think that they had. So where we've seen buddies supporting and coaching young people through the program, they've actually become more engaged in their roles and learnt skills through doing that role for the young people. So some of the results we've seen have been absolutely fantastic for our employees as well as the young people that have come through the programme.
The first step is the important one. If you can persuade people in your business to take just one person on, usually a couple actually, because it's good for them to have companionship and somebody else to speak to, particularly if, like us, your average age of your employees is that little bit older. It can be an intimidating environment for a young person to come into. The momentum to an extent happens itself because people who've had a perception around young people then see them around, see what they bring in terms of the like added vibrancy, enthusiasm, appreciation for having value placed on them and being given a real job and responsibility. It's infectious, actually, and some of the beliefs that people have about how hard it will be and the value they'll get back are broken down quite quickly. And other people then see what happens. So we started out at Standard Life with a handful of school leavers coming in on our first placed program. And then very quickly we went from other managers wanting people, there being greater demand, but then to particular functions saying, actually, we're going to bring in an apprenticeship program, or we're recruiting for 30, 40 customer service people. We think we'll take half of them as school leavers, which wouldn't have been the case a few years ago. And it's really just through seeing that some of your fears aren't realised and seeing some of the positive things that the changes bring.
There's a very real issue with skills gap in the industry. I mean, particularly with girls going into technology subjects, and even for IBM, we're recruiting above the national average at sort of 18% of our technical intake for apprentices. But we want to get that higher, and I think part of the challenge facing is to actually let students know what kinds of roles they can actually do, and it's not just sitting away in a darkened room writing lines and lines and lines of code. Actually, a lot of our technical people have to deal with client situations. They have to deal with managing different stakeholders and managing projects, dealing with a wide variety of personnel, and technical skills are being applied right across the piece there. So I think it's the passion and the interest in the technical area is really key. and what a lot of employers and certainly IBM would look for. If you haven't got the background, you haven't done computer science or as a subject specifically, that shouldn't be a barrier. Or you can still have an interest, and we can still teach you the technical skills that you need to do a job. So there really shouldn't be barriers there, and I think that's a very clear message we need to get across.